Hello, hello. It is Melissa with MJH Designs. It has been a while since I have been on the main page live, and I'm excited to start this back up with y'all every Tuesday. I wanted to say Wednesday because I thought about that, and then it gets programmed in my brain, and I can't change it. But every Tuesday at noon Eastern Standard Time, I'll be coming in here and I'll alternate from drawing and painting. One week we'll draw something and one week we'll paint something. I'll give you hints and tips and tricks on how to, well, like today we're going to be drawing a coneflower, and then I'm going to also talk to you about how to come up with ideas for your own paintings using this coneflower. Okay. So when you come in, you need to give StreamYard permission to use your name so I can see who I'm talking to when you comment. I encourage you to comment, get to know, let that it helps me get to know you, and don't be shy. So the more you comment and talk back, the more I get to know you, and we have much more fun that way. But I do. Hey, Sue Cole. I see there. I can pull Sue up because she obviously at some point, either this time or sometime before, has given StreamYard permission to see her name. So if you can either go out and come back in and do that, but you only have to do it once per page that you are on. So there we go. Let me pull that back down. All right. So if you're watching the replay, you can tell me replay, hashtag replay, or whatever, something like that, and I will be able to comment and talk to you back too. And if you have any questions at all during the whole live, just let me know, whether it's live or replay, okay? So we have this plain drawing. I have it done in black and white. So you can do these in any color you want to. But we're just going to take do a simple drawing. And then I'm going to talk to you different ways. Nan's in the house. Hey, Nan. I'll talk to you different ways that you can create a painting of these. Being able to draw simple little things, little lines, half circles, half even like a rectangle or a square or a triangle. If you can draw those basic shapes, you can draw anything. It is just building one off of another. So it's super easy to do. Valerie, hey, good morning. Okay, so here we go. We have this image here. As you can see, I like to talk to you about things you want to look for. And this goes, hey, Rose, this goes as far, this will help you painting as well as drawing. Not all of us like to draw, not all of us want to draw, but it will also help you see things in your painting. So it's hand in hand, it goes one with another. If you can do one, you can do the other, okay? Yeah, Rose said the stars are back. She's like a big star sender. I appreciate that, Rose. What I want you to pay attention to, not so sure you can see it in this photo right here, but right up in there it's much lighter. In the original colored photo, you can see it. It's much lighter up there, and then it gets darker as it comes down here. And then you have your basic like light color petal, but you see a few lines coming in there that's a light shade darker, and you will pull those dark shades in whether you're drawing or whether you are painting. Same thing here. You see that it's like a lighter shade. It's not a mid-tone or anything like that, or dark tone. It's just a lighter, a little bit darker shade than what you're doing here. But if you look here in between the petals, you see how dark that is? That is going to make all the difference in your paintings. This is going to make a difference too. Your light, your mid-tones, and your dark tones are all going to work together to create a beautiful drawing or a painting. We're not going to get too involved probably with the drawing, but I just want you to see uh, that you want to add in those dark places right there in between the petals. And you can do that just by rubbing harder with your pencil. I just have a mechanical pencil that I'm using here. You can draw with whatever you want to. But notice What puts these petals in front and what puts them all, hey Jane, in the back? You've got your light colored petals here on top, and then these that hang down in the back are in shadow. You are basically seeing up under the petal back here, so you would darken those petals. And every now and then you might have up lighting that would come and light one up, like right here. And then you've got your stem. It starts out really dark and kind of gets light as it comes down. Not so sure you can see that very well though. But all of this makes a drawing, but it also makes a painting. So when you're doing either one, you need all that to really make your painting stand out and give it way more pizzazz. A beginner painting is not going to have all that, and then you learn how to do it gradually as you practice more, and then you will come out on top when you add all those elements into your paintings. All right, I have a guest here with me too. She's over here commenting and stuff. So if I don't catch your comment, Lynn will be here with me catching your comments. So I'm just getting a scrap. Well, it's just a piece of copy paper is all I'm going to use. I'm going to put me down really small here. Try to. There we go. So you can see my paper better. All right. So I have the picture so you can see it. Usually I try to do this smaller. I didn't even think about that. If I can get both of these in the screen. There. We're going to start with this rounded part first. And remember, we're just drawing. So it does when you first start your first draw, your sketch lines or whatever, they don't have to be perfect. None of it does. You haven't that's why you have an eraser, okay? So don't be scared. I picked a really simple one to do. I'm just going to start here and basically draw in a half circle. Now I'm going to, maybe I'm not going to, maybe I'll just do it darker. See, I haven't done this in so long with y'all. I forget what I used to use. I used to use a charcoal pencil so you could see it. So I'm just going to draw it in darker for you. So basically a line, but if you look, the these are just tiny little lines. This that makes up this whole flower. Kind of like a hydrangea has tiny little flowers in the whole big flower. So this one's just got tiny little lines like this that make up that whole cone on that cone flower. But for now, we're just going to draw that half circle in, okay? And now we can come in from the very bottom of if you want to draw you an imaginary line coming across here, you can. You can erase that later. We can know where we're supposed to start from. You don't have to be exact to this. It is not imperative. As long as you get something that looks similar, you are good to go, okay? Doesn't have to be exact, and mine is not going to. I'm going to start with this petal here. And I'm going to just start up here. If you see there's like an edge here and an edge there, we're going to pull that down. And if you look at the tip, you got a little half U shape. I don't know if you can see the tip. Let me see if you can see that tip of that. You see that little, there's a little U shape. You can just take my word for it if you want to. Notice how it curves here and then it curves like a big belly. It's curving one side, curving to the other side, and then it gets skinny and it comes back to the back. So if you just study one little section at a time, you'll be able to draw the whole thing. Hey, Robin and Jane. Okay, so we're just going to pull out a section. Remember, it doesn't have to be accurate. A little skinny section. Kind of, I've got my lines kind of tilted because that petal kind of tilts that way. These tilt to the right. And if you want, you can come out here and put in your ending point so that you know where you're going to go to and you don't have to think about it. So I've got that little half U shape. I'm going to pull these lines out and then I'm going to get my little belly in over there and pull it. Here I'm going to do the same thing and then put the little belly in. I don't know why I call it a belly. It reminds me of my dog Riley and his belly. That's why I'm thinking belly, because it looks just like him. And then you can put in the little softer lines that create the little veins in the petals. Now, when you do the veins, you're going to go in the curve of that petal. So over here, they will be curved this way. And then over there, they will curve in that way a little bit more. Now, I probably should have brought that out and made that a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do now is just do that. I'm just going to erase. Remember, that's why you have an eraser. Like that. Kind of looks a little funky, doesn't it? All right. So now we have our next petal, which is, we're just going to do the ones right on top first. And if we have more than what this has, that's okay too. I'm just going to come next to that one. You don't see the whole petal. It's kind of lost in the picture. But I'm just going to curve down. Going to curve back in. I'm going to, got a little dark area right there. I'm just going to curve that with what I'm just following the curve that I see, and that's like a slight S. And then this area right in there is going to be super dark. And this petal has a little lip that comes up, so I'm going to put that in. If you can see that. Hey, Rosie, happy Valentine's Day to all of y'all. All right, so now I'm just going to shadow in. I'm following the shadow that I see on the petal. Just going to shadow some little veins in. And then this one's darker right there, so I'm going to shadow that in. All right, so now it's hard to see. I'm just going to make this up. I'm just going to pull in a long petal off the end over here. And pull it back in that way. And I see shadow right at the edge of where they kind of meet each other. And I can just put in, I'm not even looking at that petal in the painting, in the drawing, because it's hard to see. It's washed out. So I'm just putting some, maybe y'all need to be a little bit closer. Is this too far away? Um, hold on a second. Let me see if I can zoom in a little closer. I don't know that I can like get super duper close. Y'all bear with me a second. So I want you to be able to see it better. I may have to lift it up. I've got so many knobs to adjust, so bear with me. If you're watching the replay, you can zoom right through this. See, my knobs are not tight enough now. I'm wanting to move. I still don't know. Hey, Carla, I don't know that I've got it close enough. Let me see if I can lift it up. Oh, sorry, Luna. Put something under it. Maybe that'll help. Okay, back in business now. Hopefully you can see it better. Y'all let me know if you can see that better now. Okay, so now we are coming back to this petal right here. It's just a same thing as that. It starts out skinnier up here, and then it comes and has the belly on it and comes down to a rough little tip. And again, I'm not going to try to get it exact like the photo. I'm just going to start out and kind of curve it out when I get out here and do a little. They don't all have to have that little piece at the bottom, but you want to come in skinnier up here at the top so that there is a space in between these petals. Me too, Carla. I started out skinnier. And then we're going to do some little shadows around here. Little vein work coming in. All right, so then we have this little petal. And if you want to do this with the replay so you can stop and start it, is, going to probably be a lot easier on you. And don't try to replicate exactly what I'm doing. Just kind of do your own thing and pull it out. This one bends right here. There's a little curve in it, and it goes up into the flower, and then it comes out with that little S. Comes out to here, and then it's going to come up this way right there. So as long as you have something similar to that, you are good to go. So I'm going to come over, and this is coming in this, it makes a V shape. That little negative space, like right here, that little negative space, it comes like makes a V shape. Then it's going to curve up, and you can bring some of these petals can come in on top of the other petal. And then it comes out. You can just do a little waviness. I'm going to come back up here. This is just a rough, that's too wavy. Just a little rough sketch to show you that it does not have to be exact. Kind of looks like a, what do you call it? What do you call those? Jellyfish. I can see now looking in the video that I'd like to elongate some of these, and that's the beautiful thing when you're drawing. You can, quickly come in and change anything you want to change. All right, now I'm just going to come and pull in another one. It's not like the photo, but it's similar. Just like that. And this one's a little darker along the bottom here. I'm going to get rid of some of those lines going across I had there. So that has shadow work right up under there. And now I'm just feel like the picture has one too, but I'm just going to pull out a skinnier one and let some of those be a little playful and come up and then back in. You know what? I do way better drawing when I do it fast as opposed to slow, meticulous, calculated strokes. I do better painting like that, and I do better drawing. So I look at the painting like I would have that on my iPad or something, the drawing, and I would be over here looking at it in the screen like I'm looking at you, and I would be drawing it. I'm not even looking at my paper. It's like, your brain will know where to go. It's not going to be accurate all the time. Again, you can come back and adjust those little things, but I do better drawing that way as opposed to trying to make these calculated little places where they're supposed to be. It's going to come out better every single time if I just go with it and not stress over it too much. I'm going to shadow this one. And that's what happened with I did one earlier so that I, could practice it ahead of time. And I did that one really fast. Did not think about it. And it looks way better than this one already. Okay, so now we have the beginning, and we're going to come back and put our bottom or back petals on. Some of these are bottom petals, and some of them are back petals. Like I see a back petal over there. This is more, it's hard to tell, but you can see they're all a little bit darker than these on the top. Also, you've got a darker edge right in here. I'm just going to shadow that. and these negative areas. I'm going to go ahead and shadow those in with a little more pressure with my pencil. Can also come up beside if you want to. It will add a little shadow area to that. Okay, now I'm going to start pulling in my petals from underneath. Again, these don't have to be like the photo. You can just kind of do a curved line here. Let me put that in here so you can see. Right, I still can't see. Yeah. Now that's better. So somewhere in here, remember it doesn't have to be exact. And then it's darker. So I'm just going to use my pencil. If you were doing this with paint, if you're just drawing it to paint it, don't worry about putting all this in here. It's not imperative. This is just to help you see the darks and the lights, and it will help you with your painting as well. So I darkened that one. It's coming from behind. Then I've got this one. It comes out like this and then back up in between. And it's got a little loop to it right there. Can make more of a curve if you want. Hello, Nancy. All right, and then there's a shorter one right back in here. It's not as dark as the others, so I'm just not going to bear down as hard on my pencil. Bring it down a little bit further, maybe. And then this one comes down pretty long, somewhere over in here. I forgot to do my other petals first. Duh. See? We all mess up. We actually have more petals before these. I got carried away. You have your in-between petals first. Right there, right here. You should put those in first and then come and do these darker ones. But I'm going to go with it. I'm just pulling in more petals that I see over in here. Some can be light, some can be dark, some kind of go out to the right, a little funky, a little stick out, kind of like my hair. Kind of goes off in little tangents, and then I think I'm going to put one more over here and make that a little bit wider. And then I can pull down my stem wider, a little bit wider at the top, coming down. Y'all have to bear with me. I'm a little bit rusty because I haven't done this in so long with y'all. But I'm glad to be back. Thank you, Janine. I'm glad to be back, and just gonna take me a little getting used to again. So remember, it was kind of darker. This one in particular, it doesn't mean that they're all like this. This one is the way the light was hitting it. This one in particular was darker, and then it got a little bit lighter as it came down. So if you were painting this, you'd start out with a darker green and then a mid-tone right through there. So you can see, even though I did not draw it correctly, it still looks like it, right? Still looks like a coneflower. So I can't stress to you enough, you don't have to have things perfect. Perfect is boring. I'm going to shadow right closer back here to the back where they're coming out from the flower because it's going to be hidden from the light back there. So I'm going to make that area a little bit darker. If you were painting this, you would do the same thing, but with paint. That part would be much darker right in there coming out From underneath, it's hidden. It's hidden from the light. And then that one's going to be darker right up in there. And then you might have a little highlight everywhere right on the tip coming up from the bouncing off the light on the bottom. But it's not going to be much. That would be darker. All right, so let's go back up here to this part at the top. Remember, I've got this little half circle. We're just going to kind of lightly erase that. It just gives us a place to start. And whenever you are doing blades of grass, whenever you're doing something like this, you want to start at the top and come down. And notice that it's not even all the way across. Let me get you in the camera. You see it's a little sporadic right here, and then you got like a little V shape right there. Everything is a shape over here, little V shapes. Spiky hair, you know? So let's start out doing some kind of going different directions. And I'm not going to do individual ones over here. I'm just kind of going up and down with my pencil. And then over here, I'm kind of getting a little sporadic and let them go in different places. Now I'm just going to, I don't want this to be darker up here, but I'm having to do it dark so you can see it. So do these a little bit lighter. I'm going to continue that little zigzaggy back and forth, back and forth. If you want to put individual strokes in here, you go for it, but I'm not going to do it. Just kind of giving you the look, because my whole thing is just trying to get you to see darks and lights, so that will help you with drawing or painting. And then I'm going to get darker because it gets way darker right down in here, midways down. If you can learn to see the light and darks and everything you look at, it will help you so much. Remember to also curve with whatever it is that you are drawing or painting. You want to go with the curvature. So it'll be more straight right here in the middle, then it curves to the left, then curves to the right. Sounds like some dance moves. Curve to the left, curve to the right. And then you got your whole coneflower done, and it's much darker. I started out dark. That is not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be much lighter because of the way the light is shining on it. So that is a basic little coneflower. And remember that when you go out and look at a field of flowers, they're not all going to be the same. And they're all a little bit different, just like we are. So just embrace those little differences and imperfections and go with it. Your drawing doesn't have to be just like the photo. When you are taking a lesson from me, I don't want your painting to look just like mine. I want you to use your own brain, your own individual thoughts and processes, and put it into your painting so it looks like yours and not mine. Okay, that's what I love to teach people, how to create their own paintings and be their own person and use their own intuitions and things like that to come up with their own artwork. It's just I'm very passionate about that. So how can we, now that we have that drawing, how can we take this and turn it into a painting? You can use this as a template. You can draw your own painting and you can paint it just like that. So if you did not draw it big enough, like if you just do it on a scrap sheet of paper and you're not sure, you don't want to draw it big, you don't want to redraw it, then you can enlarge this, use it as a template, and draw it off with tracing paper or like the graphite paper, or you can rub chalk on the back of it, lay it down, like a colored piece of chalk, and then trace over the main lines, not the shadow work, not the vein lines, but the main lines to put that flower back in. And you can paint it just like that. You created it, you created your template. It's, basic. It'll make a beautiful painting just like it is. You can also come up with, I love to brainstorm with you to come up with new ideas on how to take this one idea and turn it into multiple ideas so that you can do a series of paintings. So don't just stop with one. Any kind of work that you do, multiply it, and you're going to come up with a lot more work a lot faster. So whether you're scheduling posts on Facebook or you're drawing one coneflower, grab multiple canvases at one time and do them in different orientations, and you have a whole lot more bang for your buck. So, I'm not putting any money here, but let's look at here's a quick, I'm just going to quickly do another little coneflower here, and then we're going to talk some more about how to incorporate. See how much easier it's for me if I just draw it quickly. Some will be hidden, some will be shorter, some will be longer. So that's just a basic. This is what I would do if I were going to draw it to paint it. This is to help you see the lights and the darks, which is helping you with your drawing and your painting. This is just a quick sketch I would do if I were going to create my painting. So remember, we talked about this could be your painting by itself. And then I have jotted down some ideas that you can add to create other paintings. So you could do like tiny little chunky canvases like these here that you can buy at Hobby Lobby and all the other places. Hey, Cindy. And I love these because they're great for little stuttering little shelf sitters. Can't talk. Okay. So you could do different orientations just on these little small canvases. So this could be one on this canvas, and then you could pull in a different one on another canvas, and just look for photos of coneflowers and try to draw them off. Don't, I mean, if you don't want to draw it, there are ways to turn photos. You want to make sure you got permission from the photographer, but try drawing them off. It's so much more rewarding. And with simple things like this, it's not too difficult. Okay. With hard things, yeah, draw it off. No big deal. But with simple things, I encourage you to draw something simple like this every day. So take different orientations of these flowers. One's curved this way on one canvas, one's curved that way on another canvas, one's going straight up and down like this one. But other ways, how can you take this and turn it into another painting? Y'all throw out some ideas for me real quick. I'm going to find another orientation of this flower and see, going in a different direction. Um, throw out some ideas how you can take this and turn it into other paintings. Can y'all help me brainstorm real quick? I've got my ideas written down over here. I'm going to see if y'all can come up with some that the same ones that I did. Here's a fun one with the little petals going. As I'm drawing this one off, y'all throw out some ideas. Blowing in the wind. Gonna make me start singing. Tilted, blowing in the wind. So that would be like what? A field of flowers blowing in the wind. See how easy these are to draw just by being playful and not exact. You do not have to be exact by any means. And now I'm going to put some See, I would love to do a coneflower out of paper. Exactly, Rose. Collage work. Yes. You do so well with your collage work. I love it all. So there's another version, quick version. I just kind of throw together. If you can just use your brain and brainstorm ideas, you will come up with all kind of stuff. Um, and Rosie, you're going down my little alley. I love that. I have something similar on my list. Rosie said an umbrella for an elf. That is my kind of thinking right there, Rosie. I love it. Yay, good idea. So you could put one that is sprawled out really big, kind of like this one, and the little elf is down here holding it. If you're not sure how to draw something like that, all you have to do is Google elf and don't copy it to a T. Take bits and pieces, put your little elf down here holding that coneflower walking up under it. Here's any other ideas. Somebody else come up with another idea. I had one similar to this. I had an animal smelling the coneflower. So you can go on to sites that have free reference photos for artists. Read the fine print. Some of them are free for certain things. So they sometimes don't want you changing things up and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes some trick you, like on you can go to Unsplash, but iStock is on there trying to sell their prints, and you may grab one of theirs. It's so super close. You may grab one of their photos by accident, and you're not supposed to use it without paying. Oh, see, Rose. Rose said use the coneflower as an umbrella, but flying in the air with a mouse. How fun! This is what sets me on fire right here. So fun these ideas are. This is exactly what we do in the PJs and Paint group. So, uh, taking these little ideas and running with them. All right, so I had the idea of an animal smelling the flower. So on those free sites for artists, there's a free reference for artists Facebook page. You can go join that and you can just punch in, I need an animal that is bent down like it could be smelling something. Or you can just look for animals, period. And if you see one, that is kind of bent over, looking at something, or it looks like it could be. It doesn't necessarily have to be smelling a flower. It just has that, his body orientation is like that. Then you stick him next to your flower and he's smelling your flower if you use the right, height and width and all that of the animal. Remember, clip art and coloring pages are someone else's artwork, okay? You don't want to copy it. You want to use it as an idea and a springboard, but don't copy it. Um, People make a living out of creating those, but use it as a springboard, as an idea. Um, Take bits and pieces. This is what I talk about all the time without copying people and copying artists and in general. Take little bits and pieces of everything in every place, just tiny little snippets, and go off without photos and then create your own stuff. Bunny picking a flower, that would be cute. And he's got a little basket and he's got some of the coneflowers in the basket. That would be adorable. Super adorable. All right, so thank you for that, Cindy. So, like it is, these are ones I had written down. You can add more that's tilted in different ways. So, you can have a field of coneflowers. If you did a field of coneflowers, the ones in the foreground are going to be larger, and then those in the background are going to get a little bit smaller, kind of like these, that looks like they're further off. And then way out here, you're just going to have little snippets of something that kind of might resemble coneflower back there. It's not going to be anything too noticeable, but you know they're going to be coneflowers because you got these up in the front that tell you that this is a field of coneflower. So they would be right stacked on top of each other, just like so super close together, a lot smaller. I'm just like drawing something. I don't even know what it is. Little Pac-Mans, something like that. So that's what that field would look like, but you just had to fill the whole field in. You could also put them in a container. So you could have a vase of some kind, a container of some kind. It could be a water pitcher, it could be a vase, it could be a bucket, it could be anything. Um, you know me and animals. I love to incorporate animals any kind of way or any creature any kind of way I can. So like in a dog's mouth or something like that. I just did a digital drawing not too long ago and the dog was holding a heart for Valentine's. So you could put a flower. I think I did one with he was holding a flower. So you could have him holding one, or it could be in his mouth, or he could have a crown of flowers in his hair of the coneflower. So you could just, there you go, Rosie. We're on the same wavelength. The decoration for a hat, to so many ideas. So you take one idea and you create a whole series of paintings on that one idea. Okay. Thank you. So good to see you here. Hey, girl. So good to see you too. What time is it? All right. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this helps you to think outside the box a little bit on ways that you can create more artwork and without it taking too much trouble. Like, instead of like today we paint a dog and tomorrow we paint a flower and the next day we paint a house. Instead of that, like, what am I going to paint today? Jot down all these ideas, even if it's just taking a simple flower and doing the orientation of it a little bit different and doing it on small chunky canvases like this. You'll have a whole series of small paintings that you could turn around. It could be your exercise, your paintings. You can do it on paper or you can do it on canvas and sell these. So I hope that helps spur you on a little bit and gets you thinking creatively to be able to create your own artwork without having to have somebody else give you a lesson or tutorial. I do those, but I want to encourage you to learn how to do them on your own. Okay, so let me know if that's helpful for you. And if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know if you have any questions. I'm just going to doodle on this one a little bit more while I'm waiting. If you're watching the replay, throw those questions out. I would be happy to answer them. Remember to go in the direction that things grow, whether it be flowers, hair on a person, or fur on an animal. You want to do your brush strokes or your pencil strokes in the direction that it is growing. All right, I'm waiting 1 second because there is lag time, but I don't see anything coming up. So we're going to end today's live video. I appreciate it. And I will be back next next Tuesday. If you see right here on the screen, you can text lives to that number and I will send you a text when I'm coming live so that you won't forget about it. And I'll be back next week and I will be doing something painting wise. I don't know what it's going to be. Okay. I may be starting a new painting. I may be revamping an old painting. I may take a sip and paint painting that I did that's super simple and elaborate on it and add more pizzazz to it. We'll just have to wait and see. Every week's going to be a little bit different. You're welcome, Cindy. Thanks, Rose, for hanging out. Thanks to everybody for coming and hanging out with me. I'm glad to be back. And it's been about a year now since I've been live with everybody on a consistent basis. So I really am happy to be back and helping you go out there and create your own artwork. So I will talk to y'all later. Come back and see me next week. Bye.